Let's bring in Mick Aussie right now. A lot of stuff to get to with Mick. Mick, we've got NFL preseason football. We'll get back to that, but we've got AFL football is getting real in your backyard and with the AFL in Australia, but we got the CFL as well. ABC, Mick, right? Anybody but Calgary, except I'm on Calgary on a teaser tonight. Calgary plus 17.5 over 44.5. And I'm going to need Calgary to start putting some points on the board. I see right now 14-0 for the Argos, Mick.
Yeah, I heard you and Joe talking as I was driving home, and I don't like the Jake Meyer. Like, he's not playing very well. He hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 or 4 weeks. He's a big disappointment. Sure, they got Bagleton, but they're real underachievers right now, Calgary. And if the Elks can beat the Red Black Sunday, then I'll be down in Calgary next Monday for the Labor Day game, and it's going to be back to a real battle. So let's hope the Elks can win and the Stampeders lose. It'll be great there next Monday.
Well, Mick, that's the real question that we'll get to, actually. We'll get to the other game first. Calgary's moving the ball right now. Calgary's moving the ball, and in fact, did they just score a touchdown? They did. Boom, touchdown stamps, Mick. There we go, baby. 14-6, extra point pending. All right, we got some points on the board here. And actually, you know what? There's actually a crowd in Toronto tonight, Mick. Caught me off guard. There's a lot more people than there normally is. It's a disgrace that they don't draw more fans than they do. With all the people in the city of Toronto, you're telling me there's not 30,000 people. That they used to get like 40 and 50. It's ridiculous. But they have a big fair going on, the CNE as they call it. It's like a state fair type deal. They got an amusement park and food and deep fried everything and all that type stuff. So there is a pretty good crowd tonight. So there should be not a bad crowd, Mick, in Edmonton now that the Elks have won a football game. The question is, can they win at home? And I say that they will on Sunday night. The Elks are going to end the streak.
Well, let's really hope so, because 22 losses in a row. It's going to be 5 o'clock here Sunday at 26 degrees Celsius and sunny. So the tailgate party will be off the charts from 3 till 5. And then it'll be absolutely fantastic. And our boy Trey Ford, mate, he's looking quite good. And he has some weapons, like Brown at running back's good. They got great wide receivers, and they got some good pieces on defense. So I'm really hopeful that the Elks can get a win and then carry it on next week against the Stampeders, and then a return game here the following week. They're not out of it, mate, because as we know, the worst thing about the CFL is 6 out of 9 teams make the playoffs. But yeah, crowds. This is what I don't like about the CFL. They'll say there's 20,000 there. No, they count the season ticket holders that don't go. So I get a bit upset. They all do it. Every city does it. So there's might be 15,000 there when they say there's 20, you know?
Yeah, but if they sold the tickets, that's fine. At least they're not making up the amount of tickets that they sold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is how many tickets they sold. You're right. It's not how many people might not be there, because a lot of people aren't showing up. But they should. Trey Ford is a great young quarterback. A lot of fun. I picked them to win the game last week, Mick, and a lot of people thought I was crazy. They're like, and I said before, not only were they going to cover, they're going to win the game outright. They're going to win. And I knew he's from Niagara Falls. So I knew, and another thing is he's never lost there before. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys knew that, but he's 2-0 in his college career on that field, and he won last year with the Elks on that field. I don't think the Elks have won since the last time he started, basically. So, the fact that he hasn't been the quarterback is kind of a joke, but I do like them on Sunday. And if they win and you're at the game, we can stop blaming you for them losing 22 in a row, because you've been at all 22 games. I would have stopped going. I would have not, I wouldn't have tapped out of my fandom, but I would have been like, listen, maybe if I don't go, they'll win and it'll shake it up or something like that. People get mad at me. I go to one Vancouver Canuck game and they lose. Oh, they always lose when you go. It's like, dude, I go to one game a month. You know what I mean? What do you want from me? I can't control whether they're going to win or lose or not. And neither do you, but look, your girlfriend stopped going and even started walking out midway through games. Is she going to the game Sunday?
Yeah, she's been good this year. Actually, she's come to quite a few. But mate, it's the whole event for me. You know that I was BC Lions.
Yeah,
I'm
you just like
Elks
to
fan.
drink.
Like I, I love the whole. I don't drink till quarter time, so don't start there. But yeah, we stand in the end zone. We got friends there. Like some of my best friends in Canada at the CFL over the past 24 years I've been going. So to me, it's a whole event. It really is running into your mates, standing in the end zone, seeing what's going on in the crowd, and hopefully the Elks can get a win because they do have some good pieces. And maybe Chris Jones is worth keeping because you don't want to swap all over again. Then you just go back to square one. So I really hope they can come good and have a good last half of the year because some people say the CFL starts at Labor Day, and it's kind of true, isn't it?
Yeah, that's always been the saying that the games don't, the standings, they say the standings don't matter until after Labor Day. That's always been the saying.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different now. You know, it's more competitive. And Toronto just turned the ball over 14-7 right now. Calgary hanging around in this football game. 3-0 for the Carolina Panthers. 4 minutes left in the first quarter of play. We gave you the Panthers and the under in the same game parlay. And we've got the Tennessee Titans. We're on the Titans. We gave you the Titans on the money line. The Titans are up 3-0 right now, early in that football game. Mick, you must be getting tired of this preseason stuff and ready for some Denver Bronco football as the Broncos have Sean Payton under control now. I thought actually that Trey Lance would have been a good landing spot. Denver. You have Russell Wilson. People are unsure about him. He's not getting any younger. Trey Lance, you know, big time talent, third overall pick in the draft. Hasn't really, you know what I mean, been given a chance yet. I was like, yeah, you know, maybe Denver would be a place actually. Like we were talking last night, where's a good spot and what makes sense? Where's a good fit for Trey Lance? But if you're just joining us right now, Trey Lance has been dealt to the Dallas Cowboys. So the Cowboys bring in Trey Lance. What's your feeling for the Broncos, Mick? Are they going to be
Well,
good?
Wow, it all revolves around Russell Wilson, whether he's fit and not a bit overweight and lazy like last year. But what about our boy from BC Lions, Rourke, playing well down there at Jacksonville? But they reckon CJ Beathard's going to get the backup job. But it's all politics. So Rourke, Broncos need to keep an eye on him because he's an absolute beauty. You know that.
Yeah, Nate Rourke has been playing well. Mick Aussie kicking it with us. So I want to get the Denver Bronco win total and get your prediction here, Mick, of how many games the Broncos win this year. The win total right now for the Broncos is 8.5. I'm on an alternate. I'm on a page here where there's like 3 choices. So I'm like, what the hell? I'm a 7.5, 9.5, but 8.5. Are the Broncos going to win 9 games this year or more, Mick? 9 more or less than 9 games?
I damn well hope so. You know that, and the coach is great, but Wilson's got to really pull into gear and play great. But looking at some of our pieces on defense, we still have some great players. Simmons and Jewell, and we got Singleton, and there's quite a few good players on defense. So I'm not worried about our defense. Our wide receivers got some injuries there. Jerry Judy's done his hammy again. I just see he's a bit injury prone, but so much revolves around the quarterback, as you know. So hopefully they play well because last year was absolutely so disappointing. I was disgusted the whole year, as you know.
It's been a rough couple of years for you between the Elks and the Denver Donkeys, right? It used to, people would get upset. Like Bronco fan used to get upset. Like Raider fan, the Denver Donkeys, right? Now even Bronco fan, we're like, yeah, it's true. They are. They're terrible. But
Yeah.
speaking of which, they open up with the Raiders. So the Raiders go to the Mile High City to start the season. Denver Broncos are 4-point favorites in this football game.
Yeah.
It's going to be Jimmy G versus Russell Wilson. And Denver should win this game, Mick. I'm not in a hurry to lay 4 points. It could come down to a field goal, but Denver will win Sean Payton's debut at home in Denver.
Well, I hope so, but it's probably going to be low scoring, you would think. But I hope I'm right. I really hope our offense can really play well this year because, like I said, last year was terrible. And my other team, the Crows, well, they missed out in the finals again this year. So all my three teams are going bad, mate.
All right, on the other side, we'll get into the AFL as the playoff push is on. All right, unfortunately, somebody on the Toronto Argonauts, my apologies for not knowing who, he's lying sideways and they have people all around him. Can't be good. I mean, they've got the cart that he can't get up. But I don't know exactly what it is. Doesn't seem like the coach went over and all right, I think he snapped his leg off type thing. Not good, but it's not like he's not dying. You know what I mean? That's what I want to get to. It's an old school football injury. He's not dying because I saw the coach came over and players but it wasn't like, oh, everyone's praying and stuff. But it was sort of like you could just tell. Someone said, "You'll be all right, bro," and like you'll be back type thing. But I don't know what happened. I didn't see the replay. I don't think they want to show the replay. They haven't showed the replay, so it must be pretty graphic. So in other words, I'm sure it's on X right now. Mick Aussie kicking it with us. So Mick, AFL football, I've enjoyed the season. I'm not going to lie, the last couple of weeks, I haven't seen as much. And, we had the Women's World Cup going on. There's always something. But I'm looking forward to the playoffs starting. And I cannot believe, well, it's easy for me to say because I never would have taken them on the money line, Mick. I would have taken them plus the points. But my West Coast Eagles, we were talking about it last week. We were like, wow, they're getting 65.5 points. I said, they did win 2 weeks ago, whatever, but it was against North Melbourne. And then you said, yeah, but look, they also lost by 113 points last week. And they had pulled off the biggest upset in like the last 25 years type of thing, like with betting almost. You were listening to a podcast in Australia, and they were saying they don't remember, like going back, no one can recall a bigger upset, actually. 65.5 point underdogs. They won outright.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys I listened to in Perth, where the Eagles are from, it was the biggest payout. It was 15 to 165 points or whatever since I've been taking records of betting in 25 years or something. So unbelievable. But the team they beat, the Western Bulldogs, it looks like they might get in, but I hope they don't. They don't deserve it. But they're going down to play Geelong Cats, and Cats are resting all their players. So the Bulldogs will probably win and probably get in, and it's between the Giants and the Bulldogs. So the Giants need to beat Carlton. But the big story last week was Crows versus Swans. A goal went through by the Crows. Swans won by 1 point because the goal umpire said it was a point but didn't call for the arc review. If he called for the arc review, it would have been given a goal. Crows would have won, and thus there would have been 4 or 5 teams all this week trying to still make the playoffs. So a complete screw up by the umpire. Big story, mate. Didn't use the system that they should have used to review the goal. Terrible.
So as it is now, Great Western Sydney are hanging on to the last spot right now. But they're 4 points up. So that's that, right? I mean, they could move up. They could catch Sydney. Yeah. They could move up.
But they're playing Carlton, and Carlton won like 9 in a row. But I think they might do it. Really tough one to pick. Carlton have got good players coming back in. Giants have been good. But like I said, the Bulldogs don't deserve to make it now after getting an easy run tomorrow with Cats resting players and losing last week to the Eagles. And I like the Bulldogs, but stuff them,
Stuff them. All right. So there's a little angle. So you said, so now we know. So you're telling us, you're saying that the Geelong Cats are going to rest people. They're not playing anybody in this game. They're in. They're not worried about this game.
Well, no, the Cats are out. They can't make it. And what's happened, they've been in the finals for so many years.
Or out, out, exactly.
Yeah. They're resting their players. The players are going off to get operations, which I don't like. I think you should still play right to the end because it's another 4 or 5 months before they play. So some of the American stuff with resting players and all that is creeping into the AFL, and teams kind of tanking a little bit to get the top draft pick. I don't like that at all. And because the Eagles won now,
Yeah, but
North
they're
Melbourne
trying.
will probably get the draft pick, so it's terrible.
Yeah, but the Cats, as you stated, the Cats are never in this situation, so I guess they want to just let some of the younger kids play a little bit, right? Let the reserves play.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. So what's the what's the best bet? So just it's good to know that that they're not starting their starters. But what do you like, Mick? What are your best bets this week?
Well, I like the Lions to win at home over the Saints. The Saints are in the 8, which has shocked me, so congratulations to them. The Lions just don't lose at home, and they should stitch up second spot, which then means they get 2 playoff games at home and then could go straight to the grand final. So I'm liking the Lions to make the grand final. I'm liking the Power to win. But the Power probably won't get that second spot. So they might go to Brisbane in that first week. So it's really interesting. I like the Crows to win over there in Perth, but your Eagles have got some of their great players retiring, so that might get the Eagles boys up. But take the Crows to win, maybe the Eagles at plus 29.
Man, it's like we're betting preseason football. Now I'm looking at this stuff, and you're like, I don't want to start getting into a headache, Mick, about teams that are both out and who's trying and who isn't and who's starting. It's one of these weeks, like the last week of the NFL, huh?
Yep, a little bit. Because of that bad decision by that goal umpire, messed up everything. It really did. There would have been 4 or 5 teams could have still made those last 2 spots. And it's all screwed up because of that one goal umpire. Hey, he made a mistake. I hope he's okay, but you've got to admit in life when you make a mistake, feel bad for yourself, but move on. But these radio guys go, oh, it's not the goal umpire's fault. Rubbish. Of course it's his fault. Accept it. Hope he's okay, but if you can't admit to making a mistake in life, you're in trouble, aren't you?
Calgary Stampeders have just scored another touchdown. Extra point will tie the football game, 14-13. We've got a fun game going on right now in Toronto. Right. So, Mick, yeah, I'm on the Stamps, the over. I've got all kinds of Stampeder player props too here. So the West Coast Eagles won last week as 65.5 point underdogs. They're plus 30.5 against Adelaide this week. I know you think Adelaide wins, but what about the point spread?
Yeah, like I said, the Crows were so upset, but every player wants to finish the year off well and win. Absolutely you do. But Eagles have got some big players retiring in the celebration. Take the Eagles on the plus, but the Crows should get it done.
All right, Mick Aussie kicking it with us. Finally, in closing, Mick, I was actually up last night watching this, although it wasn't that late for me. It was 1 a.m. after the show last night. But I tell you what, I was watching the Boomers, Australia men's basketball team. They were playing against Finland. After the first quarter, man, Finland were up 21-17. Australia were up by like 5 at the half, and it was kind of a close game. And Australia just dialed it up after, turned it up a notch, ended up winning 98-72. Canada with a massive win this morning, Mick, against France in a game that they were 1.5 point underdogs in. They smoked France. So Australia and Canada off and running in this tournament. Wow. United States played New Zealand in the morning. They're 36.5 point favorites against the Kiwis. 36.5 against New Zealand. But Australia, one of the co-favorites to win the tournament, and it was a nice start for them. Patty Mills. See, unlike Ben Simmons, Patty Mills has been there for the country, Mick, over the years.
Yeah. Non-mate Ben Simmons, what a disgrace he is. But like I said before, basketball is really booming in Australia. The young kids love the NBA stars, see how much money they have, and it's growing. It dived off for a few years, but it really is doing well. So it's good to see. They got a good national competition, so good on the Boomers, and they've done okay in Olympic Games recently as well. Maybe like 5th or 6th or 4th best country in the world with basketball now in the men's.
No, they really are. It's a world-class respected program. It's one of the favorites to win the FIBA World Cup. Mick, great stuff. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch up with you next week. Thanks for the time, Mick. Enjoy the games.
All right.
And go Elks. They're going to win the first home game in 22 attempts. It's happening Sunday night. I'm betting them.
Yeah, hope I'm really happy Sunday night. Have a great weekend, mate.
See you, Mick.